Maya Sadgurave Namaha. We are in the seventh mantra. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaivahud vijanataha tatra kaha moha kaha shokaha ekatvam anupashyataha. We have discussed in a very detailed way that what is the meaning of that sloka. Today we will see Shankara Bhashya. Imam eva artham anyaha api mantra aha. So this is the fact that who is Atma Gyan, who knows himself, he or she never hates anyone else. आत्मज्ञ व्यक्ति कभी किसी को घृणा नहीं करते, विद्वेष नहीं करते. यस्मिन् सर्वाणि भूतानि. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is giving the meaning. Yasmin kale yatha ukta atmani va tani eva bhutani sarvani paramartha atma darshanat atma eva abhut. Atma, it means atma eva samvaritaha. Paramartha vastu vijanataha tatra tasmin kale tatra atmani va kaha mohaha kaha shokaha. Why? Shokascha mohascha kama karma bijam ajanataha bhavati. Natu atma ekatvam vishuddham gaganopamam pashyataha. Kaha mohaha kaha shokaha iti shoka mohayoho avidya karyayoho akshepena asambhava prakashanat sakaranasya samsarasyat atyantam eva uchchedah pradarshito bhavati. So, yasmin vijanataha. When to the man who has realized the supreme reality, or in the aforesaid self of the man who has realized the supreme reality, in which sarvani bhutani, all those beings, not only beings, the stationary things also, the inert vastu also, everything, the whole universe, Atma eva abhut, have become the self alone. As a result of the realization of the Supreme Self, Tatra, at that time, whenever a person realizes, means knows that I am that Atma, knows mentally, spiritually, intellectually, at his every breath, when he knows, feels, understands, realizes, and abides at that time. Kaha mohaha, kaha sokaha. What delusion and what sorrow can there be? Because the sorrow and sadness, nothing but the result of our ignorance of our own self. आत्मा के विषय में अज्ञान जो रहते हैं, उसके फल स्वरूप हम लोगों को जिंदगी में जितना भी दुख और जितना भी टेम्पोररी सुख है, वो अज्ञान से है. We don't, पर ज्ञानी तत्र कह मोहः कह शोकः. In second chapter Bhagavad Gita, दुःखेषु अनुद्विग्नमनाः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः वीतराग भयक्रोधः स्थितधिः. Up to that we need. So after realization, he is indifferent in sadness and in temporary sukham, happiness. He is in the bliss. He is in the bliss. In the ocean, so big ships, like an atom. Who are in the ship, they have pride. We are in Titanic. We are in such a cruise, which is the biggest cruise in the world. 7-story, 2,000 staff in a cruise. 60 countries, food always available 24/7. Pramodtari, luxurious cruise. Video is going on. So big. You can't complete that ship in one day. But in the perspective of the ocean, nothing, insignificant. Tatra kaha mohaha kaha shokaha. From the perspective of Atma, what is the supreme bliss, supreme happiness, where there is no vikar, no two, द्वितीय का कोई स्थान ही नहीं है, तब कहां और क्या पाना और क्या खोना, there is no grief, no delusion, no lamentation, no sorrow. Sorrow and delusion come to the ignorant man who does not perceive the seed of desire and actions. Does not perceive the seed of desire and actions, but not anupashyataha ekatvam. To the man who realizes the absolute oneness of the self, which is like that of space. Anupashyataha. I have explained it again, I am telling. How is it possible? गुरु मुख से सुनने की पश्चात अनु शब्द का अर्थ ये अनुपश्यता means really sadhana chatushtaya sampanna shishya chhatraha chhatraha really imbibed with fourfold spiritual disciplines, who is really a seeker of liberation, जो सच में मुमुक्षु है, and who is really inquisitive to know the truth, not inquisitive to examine how Guru knows, how much Pandita he is, and how much Pandita I am. Who really a submissive, obedient, well-mannered, well-spiritually disciplined students who are really seeker of emancipation or liberation. When that sort of student comes, he is like the fresh gunpowder, you know. For that gunpowder, one spark is enough to explode the whole thing. Like that student, whenever that student listens, Īśopanișad idagam sarvam yatkinca jagatyam jagata tena tyaktena bhunjithaha magrithasya siddhanam. Then and there knowledge happens. And after knowledge, how he sees the universe, how he sees himself, how he acts into the world of transaction. Anupashyata. This is the meaning of Anupashyata. To the man who realizes the absolute oneness of the self, which is like that of space, the impossibility of grief and delusion, the effects of ignorance having been indicated through the question word, not question. What delusion and what sorrow can there be? The total eradication of worldly experience. Actually, not like that. The truth actually Satyata, the reality goes off. The problem is when reality portion we can fetch from the world, then it's a play game like video game people play. I have seen from small to bigger. One gun is there and they are killing without any thinking. Killing this one, animals, everything. And they are not shocked. And who is watching, they are not also shocked because there is no reality, it's a game only. So from the world, if you deduct the reality you pay to the universe, importance you give to the universe, if that importance portion, reality portion, if you take out, it's a children's play. The total eradication of the importance and the reality, what we give, what we superimpose, that goes off with its cause has been shown. It's called ipso facto. Ipso facto. So we will see another little bit explanation. We love if we consider in the 6th mantra, the sages explained to us the glory of self-realization in a language of negative assertions and not in the language of positive declarations. Okay. What was the 6th mantra? I don't know whether you can remember or not. No need. I will tell. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva anupashyati atmani eva anupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tataha na vijugupsati. There is no hatred. Clear? I think you can remember. So, we were only told that the individual will be no more any repulsion against or hatred for anything in life. But here, in this stanza, in this mantra, the same idea has been explained to us by the sages with more emphasis and practical assertions. Not only that a man of self-realization that understood in his own vital experience that he is not a separate individual living as opposed to others, but in his essential nature, he is nothing but the harmony or unity that underlies all seeming discord or plurality, which are perceived as a scum upon the reality. He who has thus realized his oneness with the entire can no longer have the ordinary tossings of the mind arising out of the ordinary psychological tensions created through delusion, moha, or through grief, shoka. Grief is the language of delusion. The amount of grief in an individual's life is directly proportional to the amount of delusion in him. In his essential nature, he is all bliss. Unity or harmony is bliss. But in delusion, when he cognizes plurality and discord, there arises in him the experience of grief. This delusion creates grief, and more the delusion, more is grief. To get away from grief is the goal of life that is sought by every living creature, whether man or woman or animal, anyone. Moksha or emancipation or liberation is the transcendence of the individual beyond the frontiers of sorrow. Here, the mantra indicates that beyond the shores of sighs and sobs lies the land of realization, where the knower experiences in his own self the entire universe to be one, which is nothing but his own real nature. The pot space can discard all its sense of limitations, imperfections, and sorrows only when it rediscovers itself to be nothing but the universal space. Each individual wave will have its own sorrow of birth, growth, decay, and death. Only when it considers itself separate from the others. But on its realization that it is nothing but the ocean in its essential nature, all its sorrows end, and no more shall it have its own delusory idea that it is separate from others. Where there is no delusion, there is no grief. Grief is the expression of delusion. Thus, a man of realization, a saint of realization, experiencing his own self, shining out through every name and form, expressing its own dynamism through every circumstance, happy or sorrowful, is eternally united with harmony and rhythm. amidst the discordant noise of life. For him are the greatest potencies, the greatest joys, and the most ample success in life. Even the heaviest sorrow cannot shake him a wee bit. Yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. Bhagavad Gita 6.22. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat.